If you missed out on the arrival of 1990 Leaf baseball cards to a local card show that summer, then you may never really know what it's like to be in the presence of a cardboard rock star. Just the year before, the 1989 Upper Deck set had changed the way collectors looked at baseball cards about what was possible, and we were hungry for more super premium brands that could push card quality even further. Donruss was the first to take up that gauntlet when they released Series 1 of 1990 Leaf. While it's arguable that Leaf did anything better than Upper Deck did, these cards were a quality leap beyond anything Donruss or Topps or Fleer had ever done before. Collectors loved the looks, but we were a little unsure about paying more than $1 a pack for baseball cards. And so Donruss apparently cut back on production of Series 2, and when we realized they were hard to find, well, we had to have them. And there went the prices to $2, $3, $5 a pack. And when some dealers popped open a box, or for heaven's sakes, a case at a show, the floor rumbled as everyone stampeded to that booth. It was magical and a little scary. Today we know that nothing made in the early 1990s was truly scarce, and the prices for these trendsetters are much more reasonable. Still, the set is jam-packed with big-name rookies and Hall of Famers, and there's enough supply that you can find perfect copies if you really want to. What follows then is the list of the most valuable 1990 Leaf baseball cards based on recent eBay sales prices for PSA 10 specimens. Play ball! 1990 Leaf Frank Thomas rookie card, number 300. Thomas wasn't anything like a full-on rookie sensation when he debuted for the White Sox on August 2nd, 1990. It was just too late in the season for him to stack up big counting numbers. And Chicago finished too far behind the juggernaut A's for anyone to notice much at all about what they were doing. But the Big Hurt did what the Big Hurt would do for the next 2 decades, hit for power, 7 home runs, and average .330, and get on base at league-leading levels without qualifying number of plate appearances. Then in 1991, Thomas did the same thing over a full season, then again in 1992, and again and again and again. In fact, through his first 7 full seasons, Thomas fell below 30 dingers just once, 24 in 1992, while scoring and driving in 100-plus runs every season. His batting average never slipped below a .308 during that span, and his OPS dipped below 1.000 only once, though his .975 still led the American League in 1992. He was a little hit or miss after that point, but still finished with more than 500 home runs and nearly 2,500 hits, and he breezed into the Hall of Fame in 2014. The Thomas Leaf rookie card sells for around $150 in PSA 10 condition. 1990 Leaf Larry Walker rookie card, number 325. Thomas took a lot of flack over the years because he put up his big numbers while playing a ton as a designated hitter. The knock on Walker, meanwhile, is that he put up his biggest seasons with the Rockies in that rarefied air of theirs. No matter where he played, though, Walker was one of the greatest players of the 1990s, and he may still get his Cooperstown due. Enough other collectors think so too to keep Walker's rookie card at about $75 in perfect graded condition. 1990 Leaf Ken Griffey Jr., number 245. Griffey was sort of a work in progress when this card was issued. At just 20 years of age, Jr. had yet to develop the power everyone thought lay dormant in those gifted muscles of his, but he was already an electrifying talent. Within just a few years, of course, Griff would sit near the very top of the baseball food chain, a position he's never relinquished. This first Leaf card of a stone-cold diamond legend sells for $50 plus in PSA 10 condition. 1990 Leaf Sammy Sosa rookie card, number 220. Who could have known at the time that this Sosa rookie was issued that the Chi Sox roster would be home to 2 future members of the 500 home run club? Heck, Sosa would blow right past that milestone into the 600s. Of course, plenty of folks take that number with a grain of salt, given everything that has transpired over the last 20 years. But there was a time when Sammy was the most popular player in the game. It's still cool to get to look at the more slender Sosa when he was a 5-tool player with all sorts of potential. It'll cost you about $40 in PSA 10 if you want to own that look to keep, though. 1990 Leaf Rickey Henderson, number 160. When this card was issued in the summer of 1990, Henderson was in the midst of arguably his greatest season ever. After all, he had won the American League MVP award and led the A's to the World Series, where my Cincinnati Reds swept them, but you know. Then early in 1991, Rickey broke Lou Brock's all-time stolen base record, and his date with the Hall of Fame was all but sealed. This 1990 Leaf Henderson card is a $30 buy in PSA 10. 1990 Leaf Roger Clemens, number 12. After a sort of mortal season in 1989, Clemens was back to his legend-building ways in 1990, posting 21 wins and a sub-2 ERA en route to a second-place finish in the American League Cy Young voting. Of course, things would get crazy for Rocket a few years later, and lots of folks have lots of opinions about how he pulled that off. As it stands now, Clemens is a great, though tainted pitcher who's having trouble getting within sniffing distance of Cooperstown. Still, his 1990 Leaf hovers around $20 in perfect condition. 1990 Leaf Barry Bonds, number 91. Remember what I said about Clemens a few seconds ago? It pretty much all applies to Bonds, except he was a hitter, not a pitcher. And he did even more incredible things than Clemens did. Still, the parts about Cooperstown and the $20 Leaf card, same. 1990 Leaf Cal Ripken Jr., number 197. Ripken was actually having sort of a crisis in popularity about 1990, though it probably didn't bother him much. The problem was that some observers were clamoring for him to take a day off, claiming his devotion to the streak was hurting his performance. He did just hit .250 in 1990. Cal answered with probably his best season ever in 1991, claiming his second American League MVP award and setting up his 1995 date with Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played record. Today, no one complains about Cal, and his 1990 Leaf is a $20 card in perfect slabbed condition. 1990 Leaf Randy Johnson, number 483. Like Griffey, Johnson wasn't fully baked when this card first found its way to collectors, but even more so. After a trade from the Montreal Expos in 1989, Johnson had a half a season with the Mariners under his belt and looked like he had all sorts of potential, but also all sorts of kinks to work through. But work through them he did, lowering his walk rate while learning to fully control that monster fastball of his. In later years, the big unit would find more team success with the Houston Astros, Arizona Diamondbacks, and the New York Yankees, but the Kingdom was where the legend was born. This card, showing his early stages of metamorphosis, catches around $20 in PSA 10. 1990 Leaf John Olerud, rookie card, number 23. Olerud was one of those sweet swinging lefties that looked like he should be the second coming of Ted Williams. He had the minor league hype to back that up too, and when he joined the talented Blue Jay squad in 1989, expectations were sky dome high. Olerud never developed the top-notch batting power that you'd like to see from your first baseman, though, and he didn't stick around long enough to accumulate Hall of Fame numbers. But he did win a batting title with a .363 average in 1993, and he did hit 255 career bombers, and he did end up with 2,200 plus hits and a .295 lifetime batting average. He also cuts a distinctive figure in the field, with that batting helmet always perched atop his head. For all that he did do, Olerud lines up here with a $20 rookie card in PSA 10. 1990 Leaf Nolan Ryan, number 21. Along with Henderson and Ripken, Ryan was one of the three veterans who elevated themselves to baseball gods in the early 1990s. For the Ryan Express, the transformation began when he left the Houston Astros for the Texas Rangers before the 1989 season. Within a few years, and pitching well into his 80s, Ryan had added 2 no-hitters, bringing his total to 7, sailed past 300 victories, and pushed his all-time strikeout record to beyond 5,500. So yeah, he always appears on lists like this one, and he lands here at about $20 for perfect graded copies of his 1990 Leaf card. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com